And so when he passed, you know, if you don't mind, I mean, if we can talk a bit about, I remember you were saying at church when you ministered on Friday that before he passed, he was saying something about shifts and all of that. He didn't, you know, he didn't know he was going to pass.
Yes. So from about March, April that year, she was talking about the encounters when we have pastors meeting on Monday. Talk about the encounters he was having. That was signifying a new and stronger dimension in the power of God.
Okay.
You know, that they brought a dead body while he was in the midst of a meeting, and he kicked the body, and the person got up. So you could see the excitement. He could tell that something was coming.
Yes.
When he eventually passed and we're praying, one of us had an encounter where the two of us, he was on the other side and I was on this other side of a ladder. And I took the next step. As he was about to take the next step, the bar broke.
You had the encounter?
No, one of our people, as we're praying.
As you were praying?
Yeah, praying. We're probing. We're just basically praying in the heat of everything that had just happened. So God was revealing several stuff. So basically the summary is it was just before, you know, something was supposed to happen. So it made sense after months after, when it seemed like God was rewarding him in my life, as it were, to continue certain things that he had started.
So did you see that measure of grace in your life immediately after?
Not immediately after.
What
immediately after. So I think to give perspective, people need to understand that certain people just seem to be specially graced for certain things.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how Daddy was when it came to the matter of deliverance. Yes. Every believer will cast a demon. The Bible says, as many as believe my name. Yes. But every time a case came before him, it was different. Compared, it was just clearly unusual. And I was a praying person, so it didn't make sense to me how things that the anointing on my life could not deal with, you know, he was able to deal with. And I kept looking at him, kept watching him. One day I told him, I was on the fast until I felt sick, and he sat me in the car and said, Lawrence, have you ever seen me do beyond this number of days before? I said, no, and I don't know why. I want to know what's making you this, you know. It didn't make sense to me, because all the stretches, I wasn't necessarily, you know, doing all of those kind of things. He had his own consecrations. Later I understood that somebody can pray, and if you don't have compassion, compassion will make up for some of the stretches you are stretching. His compassion game was intense. I have never seen a minister of his caliber as humble as my father. I'm telling you.
I remember.
Yeah, it's too simple, too down to earth.
Yes,
I'm already more complicated than my father was as far as structures around my life. It was too down to anybody could see him at any time. Yes, I remember. So I saw eventually that those were some of the power sources we don't understand.
Humility.
Yes. That made up for some of the fasting and prayer people are praying. Is because you are a very proud person. That's why you have to do 70 days to touch certain dimensions. You are now being proud of the 70 days.
70 days, and you talk about it. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, back to what I was saying, he just had that. He can't see a person oppressed. He can't see a person in need. He can't, like literally can't. When he passed, we began to discover how many school fees he was paying.
Wow.
Yeah. My mother was shocked too to find out how many school fees he was paying.
Wow.
She didn't want to stress her heart.
Wow.
There were some she knew. There were some she didn't know. You know, promises he had made to people. Things he was basically doing for random people that were not family members.
Wow.
So that kind of heart is what heavily sponsors certain classes of results. Yeah. Eventually, I realized. So I knew that it was beyond the retreats now. I had to die so that certain measures can rest and stay, not just visit me.